Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Maddie and I am so excited that you are here. Today is the second to last day of May, so that means that today's video is going to be a May wrap up. I read 8 books in May, so let's just go ahead and jump right in. Starting out super strong, the first book I finished in May is The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. This is the third book in the Mistborn trilogy, and this book really just wrapped up the entire series. This had so much action in it, so many little twists and turns, so much going on, and so amazing. I am just absolutely obsessed with this series. I've talked about it in my last couple of videos, but the series is absolutely incredible and was absolutely like a 6-star series for me. It was insane. I truly don't think I have read a better series in my life. I absolutely adore Brandon Sanderson and his work, his writing, and this really just wrapped up the series perfectly for me. It had me kicking my feet, it had me crying, it had me laughing, it had me smiling, and oh my gosh. So if you have not read the series, I totally recommend it. This series follows Vin, our female main character, in this sort of dystopian world ruled by the Lord Ruler. And Vin is a street urchin who seeks out to save the world. There's a lot of found family in this series. There's romance, there's love, there is just excitement, there's action, there's so many little twists and turns that are absolutely insane. I don't even know how Brandon Sanderson thinks of them, but it is truly an incredible series, and absolutely the best series like I think I've ever read in my entire life. So I will say it is sort of long. Each book is around 500 to 600 pages, but there is only 3 books, so if you are down to read a sort of super fast fantasy series that's kind of also a little bit longer, then this is the perfect series for you. This series leaves so much to the imagination, so much for the reader to discover and figure out on their own. I love not being told everything, but having to figure things out on my own as the reader. I just absolutely adore that, and Brandon Sanderson certainly delivers. I absolutely recommend it. It's incredible, it's amazing, it's jam-packed, there's so much to unpack here, so much to discover, so much love, so much found family, so much fantasy. I just can't. This is like literally incredible. So it just started raining, so if you hear that in the background, I am so sorry, but hopefully it's a little bit calming at least. I don't know. The second book I read in May is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This is my first Ali Hazelwood book. I absolutely adored it. I am a STEM girly myself, so this I just ate up. I devoured. I loved the romance in this book, and this book really just led me to love Ali Hazelwood. This is my first Ali Hazelwood book, like I said, and it truly was such a whirlwind, but it was so fun. I love this whole workplace romance going on, and I just absolutely adored the tropes in this book, the love in this book, the 2 main characters. I thought our girl main character was so much fun, but yeah, I just adored this one. The Love Hypothesis is about a third-year PhD candidate student, Olive Smith, and just her struggle with romantic relationships. Her best friend, I think that's how you say it, is into Olive's sort of old situationship, and Olive has to prove to her that she has moved on so that her best friend can be happy. To do this, Olive suddenly kisses a guy in a hallway and figures out that he's like one of the biggest figures in her department, and he's actually super important. So there's a lot of fake dating going on in here. He agrees to help her convince her best friend that she's over her ex, and yeah, it's just super fun. There's so many emotions going on in this book. I think it's so cute and so silly. It really just had me laughing, it had me giggling. I just absolutely ate this one up. I love a good STEM romance, and I will definitely be purchasing every single Ali Hazelwood book after this. I currently have Love Theoretically in my Amazon cart, so hopefully I will read that one very soon, but I just loved this one. This one is so popular, and now I understand the hype because it is perfect. I love the tropes. I love the tropes. And the banter in this book is so cute, so good. I love Olive and her best friend's relationship. I love how much they care for each other. They also have another friend. His name is Malcolm. He is so cute and so funny. But yeah, their relationships are so sweet in this one. I love their friendships. I love the relationship that Olive and Adam Carlson, which is the main guy character, find themselves in. It's just so sweet. So if y'all haven't read this one, please do. This is what got me into Ali Hazelwood, and I also read another Ali Hazelwood book this month, so definitely got me into her. I totally forgot to mention that I should be rating these books. Hero of Ages, I rated a 5 stars on Goodreads and then a 5 stars in real life. And then the Love Hypothesis, I rated, I think, a 5 out of 5 on Goodreads. Either that or a 4, can't quite remember, but a 4.5 in real life. I just didn't feel like it was a 5 star, but it was still super enjoyable and super fun for me. Moving on, if y'all did not see my last reading vlog, I read Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber in that one, and y'all, oh my gosh, this series, it was perfect. This got me into like a rabbit hole on Pinterest, and that's when you know a series is good, because oh my gosh, if y'all want to hear more additional thoughts, look at my last video. The main character guy, love interest, like my favorite book boyfriend. Like, I'm obsessed with him. He is so sweet and so cute. I cannot with him. Anyways, this was amazing. This got me into the rabbit hole that is this series. It just sent me into like a phase. I cried over this series. I laughed, I giggled, I was kicking my feet. I was like telling my best friends what was going on, and they were like, we don't even read. It was so good. I was just, oh my gosh. Anyways, I'm gonna say what this one is about so y'all can understand what's going on. Evangeline Fox has always believed in true love and happy endings until she learns that the love of her life will marry another. Desperate to stop the wedding, she strikes a deal with the charismatic Prince of Hearts, but she soon discovers that bargaining with the Prince of Hearts is a dangerous game. He has plans for her, plans that will either end in the greatest happily ever after or the most exquisite tragedy. So this is like the richest fairy tale I have read in a book, and I am not like a super fairy tale kind of girl. I love fantasy books that are more like dystopian, like how I talked about in Mistborn, but this world was so sweet, so incredible. I just ate up like the dragons, the potions, the true love, the cards, the oh my gosh, just everything. There was so much going on. I felt like I was confused at the beginning because I thought that it was supposed to be romantasy, and it is, but I wasn't quite getting that in this book. So I was a little confused in this book, but I still absolutely adored it. I was just waiting for something to happen, if y'all know what I mean. Like, a lot happened in the book, but not between the relationship, and I think that's what I was looking for, which is kind of stupid to have expectations going in, because I know that I'm just gonna disappoint myself. It's just so many people told me that it was supposed to be romantasy, so I just couldn't help having those expectations for the series, but I still got that romance in the end. I loved the banter between the two main characters, Evangeline and the Prince of Hearts. I love just like the enemies to lovers kind of idea going on. I felt like not this book, but the second book was a little bit rushed, and I will talk about that one after this, but this first book I think was my favorite. I thought this one was so good. I loved the beginning of the story. I loved how they treated each other. I loved just like the overall fairy tale vibes in this book. I felt like it was so packed in this one, but yeah, I thought it wasn't too complicated, but I felt like that's what I needed in that moment, and it was just super good. So if you haven't read the series, you need to, because it's going to propel you into like this rabbit hole of what the series is. It was amazing. It was just so good. This one I gave a 4.5 out of 5 in real life, and then a 5 stars on Goodreads. I felt like it didn't deserve a 4 on Goodreads because it was just better than that. She was better than that. Moving on, the next book I read in May was The Ballad of Never After, also by Stephanie Garber. This is the second book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. I love this one. This one I didn't like as much as the first one, which is actually a really unpopular opinion. I find that most people like this one the most, but I just didn't. I wasn't feeling this one. I loved it, but at the same time, like, there was something there. Like, I was just confused where the story was supposed to go, and I think that kind of ruined it for me. I love how their relationship was progressing in this one. I love how their banter is just getting better and better, and I didn't think it could, but I just felt like the story, the overarching plot was like a little bit mixed up for me, and I felt like it got a little cloudy in this book, like I mentioned before. But yeah, I wasn't feeling this one as much as the first one, so this one I gave, in real life, I originally gave it a 4.75. Then I thought on it and I was like, no, I didn't like it as much as the first one. I think I was still on that high of like the Pinterest rabbit hole, and that just like made me want to give it a higher rating. But I think it was more like a 4.25. Not quite as good as the first, but still not a 4. It's definitely better than a 4. I had some good reads in May, and this series like did not disappoint me. I love. All right, and then after The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber, I took a little break and read Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. This is her YA debut. This is a complete chess romance. It is jam-packed with chess, jam-packed with banter. It is sort of like an enemies to lovers thing going on, but I just ate this one up. I know a lot of people don't like how much chess is in this book, but I ate it up. I was obsessed. I was like, give me more chess. Like, I love it. I loved learning about chess. I loved learning how it fit in with their relationship. This book follows our female main character, Mallory Greenleaf, and her kind of just adventure with chess, her distaste for it in the beginning, and then that turning into love for it, and just a lot going on. But I will read some of the back so y'all can kind of understand what I'm trying to say. I think I'm really bad at explaining books, but so I'm just gonna read it. Mallory Greenleaf is done with chess. Every move counts nowadays. After the sport led to the destruction of her family 4 years earlier, Mallory's focus is on her mom, her sisters, and the dead-end job that keeps the lights on. That is until she agrees to play in one last charity tournament and inadvertently wipes the board with notorious king killer Nolan Sawyer, current world champion and reigning bad boy of chess. His loss to an unknown rookie shocks everyone, especially her. He desires to cross pawns again, and this leads to a sort of romance between them. Amazing book. I didn't feel like this one was a true YA for me. It felt a little bit more adult than that, but there wasn't really any spice, and I didn't feel like it needed any. I feel like I ate up the banter, and that's what made this book for me. I thought it was so sweet, so cute, and a lot of fun. I loved the little found family aspect that Mallory finds herself in the chess world. I really enjoyed this one. Check in May, I gave a 4 out of 5 on Goodreads and also in real life. Very good. Not quite a 5 stars, not quite anything above a 4 because I didn't feel like there was just enough to give it that much of a rating, but it was still so sweet, so cute, and I just truly had such a good time with this one. I felt like this one was a little bit of a brain break for me. Alright y'all, 3 more books to talk about. The first one is A Curse for True Love, the last book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. This is the book I left off on the last video, and I did not talk about it in that video so I could talk about it with you guys. I felt like this one was a little bit rushed. I felt like the writing style was a little bit forced in this one, just trying to wrap up that story in any way that she could. I didn't love this one as much as the first and second. I thought it just kind of was a little bit disappointing for me, but still so sweet, and I love how the relationship wraps up. I loved Evangeline in this one. I thought she was so cute and so strong, such an independent woman. This one does have different point of views in it. The first book did not, and then I think the second book had some. So this one really just was completely different points of views, and I thought that was really fun. I thought that was really interesting to see other point of views, but I felt like some of them were a little bit arbitrary. They didn't really make sense where they were, but I still really enjoyed it. I still really thought it was such a good time. I just love this series. I love Stephanie Garber now. I really want to go read Caraval. But yeah, so this one was a really good end to the series, but honestly just a little bit disappointing for me. I felt like a lot of people liked this one more than I did, and that's okay. If this one didn't kill the series for me, still like a 4.5, 5-star series. A Curse for True Love, I gave 4 out of 5. Still great, not quite complicated enough for me, and that was on Goodreads and then also in real life as well. So alright y'all, the second to last book in this video is Avatar. I started the series finally. This has been a long time coming for me, and I just don't even know how I'm gonna recover from this. How am I gonna recover from losing this world? How am I gonna finish this series and be okay? First book is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Oh my god, I feel like I need a minute. You'll know what I mean? Because the last book I read was A Court of Mist and Fury, and I finished that this morning. If you know, you know. How am I gonna recover? I just don't even know. This book, I don't know how I haven't read this series before. I don't know how I just never had the motivation to. I feel like I just didn't want to like completely dive into the world that is Sarah J. Maas, and I felt like the other day I was just ready. At first it was kind of like I'm gonna force myself to read this book, and then after that I was like, I can't put this book down. Like, oh my god, this is my book. Then I read the second one and I was like, this is even more my book? How is it getting better? First book is incredible. This series follows our main character, Feyre. That's how you say it in the book, but I like saying it Fair because I feel like that makes more sense. So I'm gonna say Fair. If that bothers you, I apologize. So the first book follows Feyre. She lives a super poor life with her 2 sisters and her father. One day she goes out hunting to find some food for her family to get them through the winter. She accidentally shoots a fae. She thinks it is a wolf, but actually it is a shape-shifting fae male. And yeah, because of this shooting, a terrifying creature enters her house and demands retribution, and because of this, he takes her with him to his home in the fae world. This world is called Prithian. I think that's how you say it. There's so many words in this book that I'm like, Am I saying this right? But yeah, anyways, so he takes her to Prithian, he takes her to his home, and for some reason he is like treating her very kindly. He's granting her a lot of hospitality, and she is like, what is going on? Like, why am I in this Fae realm? I thought they were supposed to be cold-blooded killers, and they're not. And yeah, it just leads to a lot of adventure between her and the captor. It leads to some romance. It leads to just a lot of things going on. It's like now pouring. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Anyways, soon she finds out that there is something not quite right in this fairy world, and she has to do something to stop this blight that's sort of coming over the land and her newfound home. I love the romance in this one. So good. I love Fair. I think she is like this awesome independent woman that I'm like, I aspire to be you. Like, you are my female main character. I love her. I think she is so amazing. And yeah, like the last 100 pages of this book is like a whirlwind of emotions. There's a lot going on, but it's really good. So definitely recommend. I hope I explained that well enough. I am not very good at explaining books, like I said earlier, but I will get better at it. If you haven't started the ACOTAR series, you need to, because just wow. Just wow. This one I gave a 5 out of 5 on Goodreads, and then I think a 4.75 in real life. There were a couple little things that felt kind of wrong to me that I was like, why is that happening? Like that should not be happening, but incredible book. Finally, we are ending off this video with A Court of Mist and Fury by also Sarah J. Maas. This is the second book in the ACOTAR series. Just incredible. This one was even better than the first. I felt like this was like a 6-star for me. Most people say this is her best book, and I have to agree. I have not read any of her other books, but I don't know how they could compare to the work of art that is this book. This book is insane. I can't really tell y'all what was going on because that would spoil the entire first book, and you have to read this one. Like, you have to read this one. The banter in this book, the romance in this book, the action in this book. And I like relate to Fair so much in this book. Like, I understand like what she's going through. So this one just did it for me. Like, this one touched my soul. If I could like merge with this book, I would. Like, this is my book. I feel like this is gonna be my 2024 book, and I'm okay with that. Amazing. This book is amazing. This is my child. This is my baby. I love her so much. It's like my prized possession. And the spice in these two books, big time romanticities. The spice is great. And I'm not typically a spice girly. Y'all know that. I've said that in past videos, but this like did it for me. The spice did it for me. It was perfect. Anyways, 6 stars. I'm so happy. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to move on. And I just went to Target the other day and bought the next book in the series. So that is the last book I read in May. All of these books were my May books, and I felt like I did really good this month. I read 8 books, and that was my goal. I wanted to read 7 actually, so I went past that. But yeah, so that's it for this video. These are all the books I read in May. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you decide to read some of these books. Please read these series. I know it was a lot of fantasy books in this video, but I am definitely going to be reading some more romance in the next month. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I hope that I have convinced you to read some of my most favorite books ever. I am really happy to say that they were incredible books, that I would read them again and again and again, and I'm in love. Read these books. Anyways, I hope y'all have an amazing rest of your month. I hope to see you in June, and yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.